So, what are we gonna do tonight, O.C.G?
Why, same thing we try to do every night, Belgium. Take over the world. I mean, Twitch. Take over Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, joined once again by my faithful manservant / Bucktotem Bertram, and this is my review for Little Nightmares 2. You know, dear viewer, for the last few weeks I've been seeing an advert, or commercial for you filthy foreigners, for this game featuring Darren Brown. Well, I suppose we all have to find something to do during the pandemic. Even conmen and charlatans. I jest. I love you, Darren! Let's collaborate, please. I'm desperate. Anyway, Little Nightmares 2 was released just a few days ago and is, unsurprisingly, the sequel to Little Nightmares. Let me say right here and now that whoever decided to call this game Little Nightmares is a liar. I haven't seen a nightmare this large since Johnny Vegas chased me down the street completely naked. So, what exactly is Little Nightmares 2? Well, I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer. This is what we call a puzzle platformer. Think of games like Limbo and Inside, and you'll have a pretty good idea what's in store for you here. Lots of platforming, trying to figure out how to get through a level, as well as sneaking past and running away from various nefarious characters. Do you like that word, nefarious? Sounds rather like a Crash Bandicoot villain, doesn't it? Now, in this title, we once again play as a child. Now, our character clearly took inspiration from Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2. Why else would you choose to wear a bag over your face? Well, unless you happen to be an ugly child. Trust me, I've unfortunately seen plenty of them in my lifetime. Though you can collect various hats in the game that can replace said bag over the head, one of which looks like the hat Georgie was wearing in the movie It Chapter 1. Now, if I was a child in a horror game, that would be the last bloody hat I'd be wearing. Speaking of children, whoever made this game clearly dislikes children more than I do. This world is strewn with bear traps, perilous drops, other traps I can't quite remember the name of. And that's without even mentioning all of the stalkers you're going to come up against. Yes. Speaking of, early in the game you traverse a house that looks rather like something out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, complete with terrifying family, animal skins, and what I can only assume is human meat. Some of which looks suspiciously phallic in my opinion. This section culminates in being chased by a man with a sack over his head, armed with a shotgun. I said it once, and I will say it again. Whoever decided to call this game Little Nightmares is a liar. The only thing little about this game is the amount of sleep you're going to get after playing it. But luckily, you will not experience this nightmare alone. Unlike the original Little Nightmares, you have a companion by your side for most of the game this time. You have to solve basic puzzles together, outrun pursuers, find your way through the various levels, including the woods, a school, and a hospital. This very much reminded me of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which you might think is a good thing, but I tell you it is not. Far from it. Brothers is a depressing game. The first time I heard a Justin Bieber song was while playing that game, and I've never been the same since. It changed me, and not in a good way, dear viewer. I haven't been able to keep food down. My left arm is now longer than my right arm, and I have a compulsion to sing in the most inappropriate of places. Why, just last week at my Uncle Roderick's funeral, in fact, as they were laying his coffin into the ground, I just started singing. Baby, 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 oh! Baby, 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 oh! My wife has left me. The dog will no longer lick my lower back, and it is all Justin Bieber's fault. What the hell was I even talking about? Brothers! Yes! Oh yes, Brothers. Well, the little shit dies at the end. Moving on. Now, I already mentioned the puzzles. One notable example of this has you using a brain to throw at a switch to open a door. I wish I was joking. Of course, they get much more complicated than that, but you'll have to play the game for yourself to figure out what they are. Now, another addition to this sequel is combat. In a few select instances, you have to fend off enemies. This is introduced in the school level, when you have to fight school children, porcelain doll things, but I prefer to call them by their official title, Scary Little Shits. Now, this whole section made me think of Lord of the Flies. And there is a teacher here that I think would scare even the Demon Headmaster. And if you don't know who or what the Demon Headmaster is, then you are clearly too young to watch this review, and you should be ashamed of yourself. I have not played a game that looked as good as Little Nightmares 2 in quite some time. I'm referring to the art style, the lighting, not the gore, though that can be beautiful in its own slimy, disgusting way. Like the original, the creature design here is also top-notch. Harry Harryhausen couldn't do better himself. Not that he could if he wanted to. That chap's been dead for quite some time. And if you don't know who or what Ray Harryhausen is, and I just realized before I said his name incorrectly, but that's not going to stop me. I'm a man with determination. I will continue with this review. And now I've forgotten what the joke was I was about to make. Oh yes, if you don't know who or what Ray Harryhausen is, then you are clearly too young to watch this review, and you should be ashamed of yourself. This game, like the original Little Nightmares, somehow is able to be sweet, disturbing, frightening, beautiful, tense, and somber at the same time. I haven't experienced that since I met a schizophrenic in my GP's bathroom. I say GP, but he's actually my psychiatrist. Wait a minute. I've never met anyone in my psychiatrist's bathroom. Well, except for George Michael that one time. Am I the schizophrenic to which I was referring? Moving on. You might not fully understand the story, but there is clues everywhere in the game. It will certainly make future playthroughs very interesting. You know, I'm struggling to come up with jokes about this game because it is too damn good. I haven't played a horror game as good as this in quite some time. It surpasses what was already an excellent game in the original Little Nightmares, and I can say that you will have little nightmares after playing this game, and I'm going to be having Little Nightmares 2. Do you get it? I'm going to have Little Nightmares 2. Like 2, T-O-O, but it's 2 as in the number 2. Never mind. If you don't get that joke, then you are clearly too young to watch this review, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Therefore, I am going to give Little Nightmares 2 a well-deserved 9 out of 10. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my review for Little Nightmares 2. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then, feel free to give me a thumbs down. Don't forget to check that little subscribe, like, bell box thingy. Feel free to jump over to my Twitch channel, which is bloody hilarious. But remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Yes. Yes.